I hope you're all staying safe during this time of physical isolation, but not emotional isolation, we hope. This is a time where we're all stopping and taking a look at what's going on this planet, what's going on in our lives. As I see it, this is an opportunity for all of us to sort of stop the forward motion of our busy social calendars and really get perspective. So it's a great time for astrology. I'd like to share with you a little bit of information on how astrology is giving us insight into what's going on for the entire planet and how that might relate to your individual journey on the planet. Recently, in January, the planets Pluto and Saturn conjoined. That means they were in the same place in the sky at the same time. That's a big deal because these planets move slow. It takes 248 years for Pluto to go around the zodiac, Saturn 28 years. So when they meet up every 30-something years, there's a significant effect on what's going on for the planet and humanity. In this case, Saturn and Pluto were conjoining in the sign of Capricorn. Let me break that down for you. Saturn represents the energy of order and structure, authority, discipline, responsibility, and on the collective level for humanity, it's really the energy that we apply collectively toward organizing ourselves as a society. What are the structures and institutions that we create? What are the rules and regulations that we follow in our social contract collectively? That's the energy of Saturn. And the sign of Capricorn is the quality of all of that. It's the basic, it's sort of like the weather that we're in at the time. And Capricorn sort of reinforces that idea. So Saturn is in its home element during that time of boosting the whole energy of how we're forming our social contract across the planet. Now Pluto is one of the outer planets that connects to our soulful resource of power. It's subliminal in us. We've always been tapping into the Pluto in us, even though humans didn't even know Pluto was out there in the sky until the 20th century. But Pluto has always been there as part of our experience, connecting to the power that we are as spiritual beings, co-creating all of this together. We have been doing it all along throughout the history of humanity. We've been co-creating this, even though we haven't been aware that we've been doing it. And that's the Pluto in us. So it's powerful, it's transformative. And when it touches our individual lives through our personal birth charts, or it touches us across the planet in transits that are happening ongoing, it shows up in ways that are metaphorically related to earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanoes. Pluto carries the themes of death and destruction, but really what's behind that is transformation. Transformation. Because that's how we actually create the reality we're in. It's always transforming. And we're contributing to that. We're participating in that process. We just haven't known it as a collective species. So what's going on with this Pluto conjoining Saturn is that we're at a time when humanity needs to wake up to the power that we bring to this dimension of time and space as spiritual beings. And how are we organizing ourselves? What are the structures and rules and regulations and institutions that we are creating in this world? Even before this Pluto-Saturn conjunction, leading up to it, we could see we're at a point of existential crisis regarding global warming and the environmental conditions of the planet. So this has been kind of building up for quite a long time in our consciousness as a species. Some of us have been seeing it, have woke up, and really see what's at stake. a lot of humans have not really kind of gotten that yet. And as it built up, well, then we started to see on the political level the powers of the world at all levels, economically, politically, starting to line up in terms of who's going to dominate the ongoing future structure of this world. We could see it play out as it built up to the impeachment process, and there was a lot of hope by a lot of us who were tracking this astrologically and otherwise that would be a turning point, but didn't seem to be. Didn't seem like we were able to kind of pull it off and really turn the corner of aware responsibility for how we are ruling this planet. Yet, behind all of it, Spirit has a way of enforcing rules, Saturn, and bringing transformation, Pluto, anyway, even though we're not up to the task. And it's as if Spirit said, okay, you guys aren't up to it, so we're going to do this a different way. We're going to bring a virus that basically forces everyone to just stop. Just stop. Because that's what it takes for individuals to start to wake up and pay attention to how have we formed our society? Is it really serving us as humans in a holistic way? So during this time, we all have the opportunity to stay home, go inward. All that Capricorn energy is at one end of a polarity, opposite Cancer. And in the Capricorn end of it, it's all about business and achievement and creating new waves of social structure and progress and in the sort of the monetary sense. And as individuals, we get caught up in, I have to have a career and I have to, be recognized in achieving something in life. And it's very busy, very busy. And we've gotten out of balance in terms of keeping a holistic approach toward life. So on the opposite end of that polarity, the sign of Cancer is the energy that we are now forced to be in. Cancer is about home, family, nurturing ourselves, nurturing each other, cooking, just paying attention to the emotional realm of our humanity and whether it really supports and nourishes us in a holistic way. So here we all are, forced to be home with our loved ones, hopefully if we have some around us, or even if we're with ourselves. What do we do with our feelings now? We can't go out and distract ourselves with achievement and social connections. We have to be with ourselves. And isn't that really what is called for during these times? Because it invites us to start to question what our lives are about. How have we prioritized our time and energy and goals? And how does that fit into the collective goals that we've set and the way we relate as a society? You can see there's transformation happening in the midst of this pandemic. And Pluto is sort of forcing us to let some things die, including some human beings. But some ways of doing business in the world are dying. Some social contracts are dying. But the whole principle of Pluto is not just to create death. It's always a cycle of birth and death and birth. So within this pandemic time of apparent destruction and death, there's also the seedlings of birth beginning to happen that hopefully are pointing us toward a more conscious, progressive future as a species, as humanity. But at the very least, we can use this time to change our own lives, to be more awake, to more conscious, and in alignment with a holistic approach toward life. Now, as the year progresses, in December, the planets Saturn and Jupiter will conjoin in the first degree of Aquarius. Saturn's already moved into early Aquarius since January, since that Pluto-Saturn conjunction. So it's already, but just last week Saturn moved into Aquarius and is bringing that same need for order and structure into the realm of Aquarius, which, coming right after Capricorn, is the energy of change. Aquarius wants to break up the status quo that Capricorn has crystallized. And Aquarius is interested in the intuitive possibilities of what's next. What can we innovate? What's the changes we can bring on that connect to the collective humanity that we are? That's the stuff of Aquarius, see? So as Saturn moved into Aquarius just this last week, that's just when we're sort of waking up to the common oneness of our humanity, that we're all susceptible to this virus, and we all have to be one humanity, see? And Saturn is enforcing that order and responsibility into how we think about the way we're structuring ourselves, see? So it's already happening. And as Saturn continues to move forward into Aquarius, by next December, Jupiter will catch up to Saturn, and in the first degree of Aquarius, they'll conjoin. Well, that happens about every 20 years or so, that those two get together in the sky. But for hundreds of years, they've been meeting in signs that are related to the element of Earth. And this will be the first time in hundreds of years that their conjunction is happening in a sign related to air. That's a big deal, because in the sign of Earth, they've continued cycles, these 20-year cycles, where humanity is focused on the material plane, which isn't a bad thing, but it has the dark side where we've got totally, think about what's happened historically over the last couple hundred years. We've gotten so ingrained into the materialism, lost touch with the spiritual, magical side of life that is beyond the material. So it's all about money, about things. And the dark side of that is it's affected the actual material plane that we're on, destroying the environment, say. It's out of balance. So now as the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction move into the sign of Aquarius this next December, it begins the first cycle of many repeats in air signs for the next couple hundred years. And that's good. It's going to wake up our minds, our mental awareness to what the cognitive understandings are of this world we're in and the world we're creating. Now, as Saturn and Jupiter continue to move forward after December, then within just a few years, Pluto is going to move into the sign of Aquarius. And Pluto, like I said, is slow moving. It's been in Capricorn for over 10 years, and it's going to be in the sign of Aquarius for 10 or more years. That's a long time for the transformative power of Pluto to apply into this new energy of humanity and innovative change and egalitarianism. So I'm optimistic about the future. I'm optimistic about the role that this pandemic is playing in how Spirit is inevitably always supporting us with unconditional love, continuing opportunities to do the right thing, to do the next right thing. And I hope you can see it that way too, and keep yourself in a place of positive outlook where you can participate in what's coming, what is happening already, in ways that anchor your light into the world and thereby contribute to the strength of the collective to be able to connect to the light of love, to the light of truth, hope, unconditional love. That's what we are, isn't it? That's who we are as spiritual beings. We are the stuff of unconditional love and light and truth. We just have forgotten it over the years. But we can keep remembering. We can stay awake And that's what's being called upon us right now, to play that role, whether we're sitting alone meditating and just anchoring light through our physical form into the world and holding it through our heart in compassion, or whether we're helping each other, helping our neighbors, and then looking at how do we want to do the rest of our life? Are we really tuned into what we're here to do as souls? Do we know why we came into this lifetime as a soul? Are we paying attention? Are we on task? It's a good time to think about those things and get perspective. Now, I'd like to be a part of that with you if I can, because as an astrologer, that's what I do. Besides helping us understand the collective energies around us as a planet, as a humanity, astrology is really good at helping you understand why you came into this lifetime. That's what I do as an astrologer. When I'm looking at your birth chart, I can see and tell you where you've come from karmically, from past lives, what you're here to balance out, what are the patterns you brought forward from the past that early in life could still be blocking you, blinding you, keeping you unbalanced. And then I can show you what are the experiences that you chose to have in this lifetime that are creating more consciousness in your soul to be able to be a conscious creator with all the rest of us, of what we're creating on this planet, including your own particular individual life journey. I can show you that in your chart. I can also show you on your chart how this particular time, how these transits I've just referred to show up in your chart and apply to you at this time. How does it affect you? How's this world situation affecting you in particular? And what's it calling from you at this time? I can show you that. I can also show you what your healing path is, because that's a big part of what's happening for humanity at this time in the evolution of the human consciousness, is the idea of healing. We come in, each of us, experiencing wounding patterns early in life that are often very painful. And we need to heal that. We need to pay attention to us. It's playing a role. I can show you what your wounding pattern is. You'll recognize it when I talk about it. But what you may not recognize is why you as a soul chose to create that wounding pattern. It didn't just happen to you. You aren't a victim. You chose that pattern because it serves you. It's part of your strategy to move toward balance, karmic balance, and wholeness, and being awakened as a human being to help you as an ego begin to connect to your soul. That's what healing does when we really, really give it our best attention. So I can show you what those patterns are and what the role of healing is in your journey and what it would take for you to heal. I hope you're interested in that. I offer to you this opportunity in 3 levels. In a 30-minute reading, I can share with you what that core piece of soul purpose is in this lifetime. I could do that in 30 minutes. It leaves out a lot of other details in your birth chart about your strategy, okay, which a full 90-minute reading is what I usually do for a birth chart. And I cover all the details of your life. But in a half hour, I can give you that core piece of what your karmic journey is in this lifetime. For 60 minutes, I can include how the current transits are affecting your particular life journey as it shows up in your birth chart. In 90 minutes, I can also cover that healing pattern path that I talked about. So for 30 minutes is $50. 60 minutes is $100. 90 minutes is $150. I call you or we do it on Skype I record it for you and send it to you through Dropbox. I also send you some written materials to help you go deeper into the things we talked about. I hope you're interested. This is a good time to do this kind of work for ourselves. And I'm excited to be part of that, because it's something I can do while I'm staying home, staying safe, and it's something you can do while you're staying home and staying safe. So please consider it. I'd be happy to work with you. We're living in a time when exciting things are happening, and there are spiritual awakenings happening all over the planet. So don't lose faith. Stay strong. Know that we're in good hands, and let me help you see that even more clearly through astrology. Be safe. Love each other. Love yourselves. Be kind. Namaste.